Hi Gemini, welcome to your mid-September 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. So I'm using the Lightseer Tarot deck for this particular reading, and let's see what cards come up. Oh, I like this. That's the Three of Cups. I like that. The depiction of it in this deck. Ooh, interesting. I like their depiction of the hangman too. The heart of the matter is the Three of Cups. I'll just show the top here because you can see the sky. Yeah, the way I've got this, probably don't have to do this. Shouldn't have to do it. I don't know why. Me and my technology here. The Three of Cups is this card of friendship, celebration sometimes. If you have something that you want to celebrate, that, you know, some kind of success, but it can also be, I think it can be a card of support, like your support system, people rallying to your side, to help out, or if you've, like, let's say you have come from divorce and you're ready to enjoy being single again. Maybe you didn't spend much time with your friends in recent years and you're kind of reconnecting with them, or just some kind of like, hey, I got a new job. It can be anything that makes you want to celebrate. In the past position, we have this how can I do this? I don't know what's going on with this. The Seven of Cups. And this is a card of, you know, you see a person who's deliberating between different scenarios of what he wants to do. And that can be because you have a lot of options right now, which is great. But sometimes, you know, all that glitters isn't gold. So, you know, perhaps when I see the Seven of Cups, I think of somebody who has come out of something and now feels free and maybe is feeling more like they have a lot of possibilities, but they have to narrow them down in order to decide what to do. Gemini kind of loves that idea of like sampling from this and sampling from that. But sometimes you have to be able to, you know, look at something, especially if it's a serious matter, and pursue it very methodically. So an example would be if you're getting a lot of job offers and you are not sure which one to take. And the irony is you might have been in a period before where it was like, when is this going to happen for me? You know, everything seems to be so slowed down, and now you feel this sense of wanting things to be, you know, obvious to you. But this can be a card, the Seven of Cups, of wishful thinking, of muddled thinking, where you can't think very clearly. Seven of Cups can be a card of addiction. And so maybe, you know, celebrating sobriety with friends. Maybe like, you know, connecting with other people to help, you know, as a support system for addiction or for other kinds of challenges that relate to not having a clear head and how that may impact you. You know, support groups in general can be good for many things that connect with our thoughts, and you know, so even you know, in terms of ambition, the law of attraction, and things like that. The higher message is the Three of Wands, and this is a card of, you know, expansion, going into maybe new territory, wider spaces, kind of making your life larger than what it is, and you know, kind of opening up in that way. This is an entrepreneurial card, I think. The number 3 is a creative card, so this can also be definitely about creativity, but also, you know, with your, if you have a business, maybe going on your own business-wise. But if there's something to do with relationships, because the 7 of Cups, the 3 of Cups can be relationships, you might even be looking at the people in your life that you hang out with, you know, your social circle, and saying, you know, are these people really who I should be hanging out with at this point in my life? Gemini is a very social sign. So you are the type of person who likes to be around other people, especially different types of people. But you might have your one group that you are with frequently, and something has perhaps changed with that, and it might have something, sometimes, you know, I'm not saying that all of you guys are in AA, but there's a saying in AA, I think they say people, places, and things, and sometimes that has to change. Those things have to change in order to really change your life. So there might be some of those issues, and really with the 3 of Wands, when we're talking about expansion, since this is a spiritual card, it's talking about it from your spiritual life, that people who encourage you, who support you truly, who are not trying to keep you down because they feel down in life, so they don't want you to go after your dreams, and they subtly try to discourage them. Those are the people that are good for you. And it's not to say that these other people were not good at different times in your life, but now things are different. This can also be about if you are launching some kind of a product or a business, that you begin by tapping into your social network first and getting the word out that way. What crosses you is the 4 of Cups. But as soon as I picked this card for you, I thought of somebody that might get easily bored and dissatisfied emotionally, but is actually, that is kind of a habit that has to be reined in. And what I mean by that, Gemini, is because you are so changeable, it's easy for somebody like you to get tired when novelty wears off. And in order to really kind of create a foundation, you have to be persistent enough in something to kind of anchor it. You can't just do something for a short period of time and then decide that it's not good enough because you're bored. And so that may show up sometimes in you going from one thing to the other and not finishing them. And this will especially be problematic if you have Mars in Aries, because, you know, that really gives you that desire to initiate. And yet, initiation is just one part of this. The Four of Cups in the challenge position can also be a card of, I think it's being your own worst enemy, where you are not willing to, it's like investing in relationships too. So because you are very social yourself, trying to pin you down and get you to be with one person for any length of time is not going to be that easy. And maybe that's perfectly normal in your particular case, because we're all different. The only thing that I'm saying about that that can be challenging is that you have to be able to stick around after that initial, intoxicating feeling of infatuation. The Four of Cups may set in when things become just normal. And that's why I'm saying with the Seven of Cups, maybe the Seven of Cups is connected to Neptune. And it's funny, so is the hangman to Pisces, Neptune, that kind of thing. And one thing about Neptune is it can be idealistic, but on the negative side, the idealism can lend itself to being easily disillusioned. So easily disillusioned that it works against you, because you have expectations that cannot be fulfilled in the material world, that are not possible, because there's always this ideal that is not being met. And so that's why I'm saying with the Four of Cups, you might be misinterpreting your feelings. When you feel dissatisfied with something, you have to be, use that mental, analytical side that you possess and ask yourself, am I giving this a fair shot? Is this job really unsatisfying, or am I restless? Same with relationships. Is this relationship, now that I've been with this person for 3 months, I'm starting to feel that it's not good enough. What is really going on here? Am I using that feeling? Is that feeling coming from another part of me that always is looking for something that can't be found in the real world? And being able to gain clarity in your mind about that, so that you just don't take off at the first sign of something not being all sparkly, unicorn-esque. Actually, with the Three of Wands, that can be that desire within you for freedom. But is it freedom at any cost, is what I'm going to ask you. Oh, speaking of which, okay, now this is a great thing. What's coming in? This is a card. The Four of Wands is a card. You see I guess you'd call it like a teepee, wouldn't you, or something. I wouldn't call that a yurt, because I think yurts are not pointy on top. They're kind of a dome, but it is kind of like a yurt. The Four of Wands is a card of domestic bliss, a new home. Marriage can be a part of all of that. And that is what I want to tell you that your domestic life can be, and what your significant other, your relationship with a significant other can be. It can be a place of happiness, of joy. It doesn't have to be a place where there are buried negative feelings, where there's a heaviness in the air. There can be joy. And you might, in this time period, perhaps you are going to meet somebody that becomes that significant other for you. I'm not saying in the next week or so. I'm saying, you have these eclipses are occurring in Gemini and Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius is your opposite sign. The seventh house is the opposite house, and that's the house of marriage, committed partnership. So what I would say is to reflect upon your attitude, and this may go way back, and you might not even see it as something that you can change. It just might be what you experienced growing up of what relationship can be in its highest sense, but not in this kind of, Harlequin romance sense that is not real, that is kind of like manufactured so-called ideal relationships. This is more of a mature, realistic version of it. And with the Four of Wands, when it relates to, anything that if you're working for yourself, I think the Three of Wands can even be travel, if I'm not mistaken. But this sense of like finding a home, even when you are kind of nomadic. And the outcome is the Hangman. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love the colors too. So they have it like kind of a yoga swing, the modern version of the Hangman being inverted. And this is like a card of maybe a waiting period. Perhaps there are things as you close down this year that are going to be settled. You are having a lunar eclipse in your sign at the end of November, Gemini, and that might be kind of that culmination of the end of a cycle. And the point that I'm making is that maybe you feel in suspension, that you can't really do anything. It's funny that I'm ending the reading this way, because the Seven of Cups is a card that's also associated with Neptune. It's like the unknown. And sometimes we have to be comfortable with that if we are in this state of transition. If you have left a long-time relationship and it feels like you're free, but it's almost like the freedom can be overwhelming, you may have to hang out here for a while. If you have left a job that has felt really confining, you may have to hang out here for a while until you find that next great dream to pursue. And the one thing about the Hangman, and it's going back, I'm not an AA, but I know a lot of the slogans is let go and let God. That's what the Hangman can be too. And it's like, you don't have to figure it all out tonight. You don't have to control everything in your reality, even though there may be a lot more that you can do than you think. It doesn't mean that you can control everything. And you have to be willing to be okay and comfortable with that dichotomy, if you will, or, that paradox. Okay, that's what I have for you, Gemini. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.